Okay, salam sejahtera and good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, I hope you guys in a good conditions. My name is LIAW. Number matrix BB1911095 So today I will lead our discussion. So before we start, can you guys introduce yourself?
My name is NURUL NABILAH binti WASIDI and my matrix number is BB19110851.
Okay, hello. My name is ASMAH binti AZIS and my no matrix is BB19110390.
My name is IZZAH binti AHMAD BAKRI. My matric number is BB19110792.
Hi, my name is ASMIDAR binti MUSTAPHA. My number matrix is BB19110604. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So we will start our discussion today. So for the first, I will give some introduction about the trade union. A trade union, sometimes known as a labor union, is a group of workers in a certain trade, industry, or corporation who band together to bargain collectively for better pay, benefits, working conditions, or social and political position. Craft unions lost ground to industrial unions during the 21st century. Because the first union were formed to represent skilled employees, this move was both historic and contentious. These groups argued that low-wage workers were unfit for labor unions. In modern developments, the movement to pass so-called right to work laws, which typically but in the union shop, a historically prevalent clause of labor contracts that obligate workers to join or pay service fee to a union as a condition of employment, had a negative impact on the labor movement in the United States. By depriving unions of funding, they had the practical impact of weakening collective bargaining and curtailing their political activity. Other states have enacted separate legislation to limit or prohibit public sector unions from engaging in collective bargaining or exercising their right to strike. So, that's all for the introduction about the trade union. So now we will start with the first trade union tactics, which is strike. So you can start your answer.
One of tactics used in trade union is strike. This tactic is done by a group of employees by refusing to work temporarily to force the employer or organization to listen their demand or defend their employees' right in a legit way. There are factors cause the trade union to strike. One of it is dissatisfaction with company policy. Employee may found their company do not have practical policy, especially during a critical situation. For example, in early pandemic of COVID-19, the company do not have the flexible working policy. Employee will be in dilemma whether to stay at home due to the dangerous or employee may stay at home and receive warning from management, or employee may go to work in dangerous or stay at home and receive warning from management. Another factor that can cause strike is the ineffective of working hour management and salary and incentive problem. The strike can affect both employer and employees. The employee cannot claim their salary during the strike because they will not working temporarily. Besides, they might get dismissed if any misconduct committed during the strike. As for employer, they will get less profit than usual because the operation is not working as usual. Strike can be extreme, so it's best for both employer and employee to find another alternative first. It is recommended for both employer and employees to find and discuss the win-win solution. Besides, if the trade union want to continue to strike, it is recommended for them to have a strong financial for them to survive during the strike period. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, we move to the next tactic, which is from international trade secretariats.
Okay, for the second tactics, which is from international trade secretariats, okay, international trade secretariats can help unions considerably. At present, there are 15 of them function as loose confederations to provide worldwide links for the national unions in a particular trade or industry. For example, in the late 1860s, organizations of glove makers in Germany, Austria, France, Denmark, and Sweden began to send a representative to each other's congress. In 1867, Amalgamated Engineers in the United Kingdom had one subsidiary in France, 11 subsidiaries in the United States, and part of the British Empire. In 1871, a mutual agreement on trade union issues was signed between the Organization of Glove Makers in Vienna, Germany, and Scandinavia. With the support of the London Cigars Makers Association, tobacco workers set up the International Association of Tobacco Workers according to the same pattern and died shortly thereafter. In 1873, the ceramists established a central organization of ceramists with a German headquarters. Okay. International trade secretariats have been helping in just exchange of information. From here, they should go further and achieve the goal of transnational bargaining with each of the multinationals. Each of the 15 international trade secretariats has similar programs, which is aiming to achieve the transnational bargaining. The program contains 5 elements, which is the first, research and information. Second, convening company conferences. Third, establishing company councils. Fourth, company-wide union management discussion. And 5, coordinated bargaining. Okay, I think that's all for me.
Okay, the next tactic, lobbying for limited national legislation.
So the third tactic is about lobbying for limited national legislation. The term lobbying refers to any effort by individual or private interest group to effect the decision-making of the authorities. In its original definition, it referred to attempts to manipulate the voter support of legislators, which were commonly conducted in the hall outside of the regulatory legislation. The workers' organisations are beneficial in identifying emerging policies and giving thoughtful evaluation. So the unequal influence conditions such as monopoly can lead to adverse outcome. The misuse of lobbying can prevent the development in many government policy sectors. So the trade unions are conscious of development in many and emerging problems that other parties involved and the authorities may overlook. So the authorities should ensure all parties have fair and equal entry to the implementation of government policy. By having a diverse set of viewpoints helps to inform policy discussion and specification. That's all from me.
Okay, for the intervention from the global body.
So the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) is the world's leading policy-making organization. Most of the world's multinational enterprises are based in the OECD. The International Labour Organization (ILO) is a United Nations specialized organization. In fact, the ILO sets standards that, following regional implementation, form components of a transnational policy. The organization started engaged in the drafting of a standard of ethics for multinational enterprise in order to give conventional institutional response to the third world concern for multinational enterprise activity oversight. The OECD issued the Declaration on International Investment and Multinational Enterprises in 1976 that contained the Multinational Enterprise Guidelines. In 1979 and 1984, the guidelines were upgraded, so both multinational enterprise and authorities are targeted in the OECD recommendation. Authorities are urged to work together with others and alongside non-member nations to encourage multinational enterprises to follow the principles and to consider all businesses that they serve with fair and equitable treatment. Competitors, finances, taxing, labor and trade unions, and technology and research are all addressed in the Multinational Enterprises Guidelines. The guidelines originally intended to be an amendment to the OECD Declaration on International Investment and Multinational Enterprise, and thus remain in charge of that document. The OECD guidelines are not compulsory collection of rules and norms for sustainable business activity in terms of legislation, but rather a formal agreement. Regardless of the fact that agreements are not permanent and irreversible, they reflect participating economies' realistic expectation for multinationals' actions. The guidelines' objective are to guarantee that all these business actions are consistent with policies to strengthen the basic framework of interpersonal trust among businesses and the organizations wherein they conduct business, assist in, assist in improving the international investment environment, and to increase the ability to contribute of multinational to environmental sustainability. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we can conclude that the trade union tactics can help the workers in many elements. Workers with strong union have been able to set industry standards for wage and benefits that help all workers, both union and non-union. Unions are helping to set the standard for education, skill levels, wage, working condition, and quality of life for the workers. By using these four tactics, which is strike, form international trade secretariats, lobbying for limited national legislation, and intervention from the global body, it will help many workers in their work to gain their wage and benefits. So that's all for our today's discussion. Thank you so much and take care for yourself.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.